Today, we're going to talk about pork. Yes, the forbidden fruit of the animal kingdom, as controversial as it is tasty. Now, pork wasn't exactly at the top of my list of burning health topics, but I stumbled on a post from Dr. Josh Axe the other day, and wow, he gave pork a really harsh review. Parasites, toxins, even scripture got involved. I mean, he really axed the pork. So I thought, let's talk about that, with an open mind and an empty stomach. When it comes to food, so much of what we eat depends on where we were born. I mean, I've eaten pork all my life, not because I was obsessed with bacon, but because of family. And let's face it, food brings people together, even when it's a little greasy, even when it comes from an animal that rolls in mud. If you think about it, when it comes to family and friends, pork is like celebration. Now, I've tried a few times to give up meat, not just pork, all kinds of meat. Sometimes for health reasons, sometimes after viewing one of those documentaries about industrial farming and feeling that maybe animals deserve to live too. Wild thought, I know. And sometimes because spiritually it just didn't feel right. But habits, social pressure, Sunday barbecues, you know how it goes, right? Anyway, enough about me, let's talk about pigs. Why does pork have such a bad reputation, especially when it tastes so good? Let's start with the science-ish stuff. First, parasites love pigs. Pork has historically been a major source of trichinosis, a parasitic infection. Raw or undercooked pork can also carry things like tapeworms and toxoplasmosis. Now, to be fair, modern pork production, especially in countries with strict standards, has significantly reduced these risks. But in factory farming settings, where pigs are raised in cramped, unsanitary environments, the parasite party is still alive and well. Also, this issue is not limited to just pork. You might have heard how eating farmed salmon can also give you parasites that eat your brain from inside out. So much for sushi. Secondly, there's a common belief that pigs don't detox well because they don't sweat efficiently. That one is partly true. Pigs do lack functional sweat glands. But most detoxing actually happens through the liver, kidneys, and the lymphatic system, not sweat. So the real issue isn't with the sweating, it's the toxic feed and living conditions pigs are often subjected to. And here's the kicker. Most people aren't eating slow-cooked pork shoulder from a lovingly raised pig named Gertrude. They're eating ultra-processed bacon full of nitrates, smoked ham soaked in sugar, and mystery sausages from plastic packets. That stuff, yes, that's inflammatory and potentially cancer-promoting. Even the big food-funded WHO thinks so. And yes, it's even worse when that bacon or sausage is deep-fried in seed oils and slapped between white bread. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. In Judaism and Islam, pork is outright haram, that is forbidden, as it's considered unclean. Even in the Bible, it seems that pigs are off the menu. They do not chew the cud and are therefore unclean. Do not eat their meat or touch their carcasses. In Hinduism, pork is often avoided, especially by those pursuing higher spiritual practices. In Buddhism, it's more about ahimsa, non-violence and compassion. In other words, respect for all living things. Pigs are seen as sentient beings, and eating them can create karmic residue. Is all of this just dogma? I used to think so, but maybe not. Because when many ancient spiritual systems across cultures say the same thing, they might be onto something, and it might be worth listening to. Not out of fear, but maybe with some curiosity. Because at the end of the day, we want to do what's right for us. Now, let's step out of the petri dish and into the bigger picture. From a deeper perspective, everything we consume becomes part of us, not just physically, but emotionally, energetically. And pigs? Well, they're scavengers. They'll eat almost anything. Rotten food, waste, even dead animals. Their job in nature is clean up crew. Yes, like bacteria. But bacteria doesn't taste as good. Some people believe that pork carries a heavier, denser quality. not just in texture but in how it feels in the body afterward. It often comes from fear-filled environments like factory farms. It's usually consumed quickly on the go, without much awareness, and it may leave us feeling a little off. Not evil, not toxic in every case, but maybe just not aligned with the lighter, clearer state we're aiming for. So, is all pork bad? Not necessarily. There are beautiful exceptions. First, there's Iberico pork from Spain. These are pigs raised in oak forest, munching on acorns. You know, those yummy nuts that always seem to trigger the end of the world in the animated movie Ice Age. Then there's Kurobuta pork from Japan, treated with care and fed clean diets. And there's also the porc noir de Bigorre, French free-range pigs with fancy accents. These pigs live a more natural life. They're not pumped full of hormones or antibiotics, and energetically, their meat carries less trauma. So, if you choose to eat pork, ideally this is the kind you want. Respectfully raised, humanely slaughtered, eaten in moderation, with gratitude, and they are packed with omega-3 fatty acids as well. I have to say though, the price is rather on the high side, but the taste, oh my. So anyway, maybe don't axe pork completely. Just be discerning, go for quality and eat it with awareness. So, what's the final takeaway then? Here's the answer no one really wants. It depends. But here's how you can decide. Check in with your body. How do you feel after eating it? Energized? Sluggish? Spiritually foggy? Check in with your soul. Does it feel aligned with the person you're becoming? Check the source. Was the animal treated well? Was it raised cleanly? Or are you eating something that lived in fear? And finally, maybe check your motivation. Are you eating it mindlessly? Or because you genuinely feel good with it in your diet? At the end of the day, you're not here to be perfect. You're here to be aware. And that awareness, that presence, is what turns a meal into medicine, or maybe a lesson. As for me, well, I'm still eating pork occasionally. Not always the best type. Again, mostly because of the family or friends. But who knows, I might stop one day, and if I do, I'll surely make a new video to tell you why. So, that's my take on pork. It's a piggy paradox really, delicious, divisive, and deeply symbolic. Let me know in the comments, do you love pork? Did I make you want to quit pork? Or maybe eat more of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this helpful, consider subscribing for more health deep dives, where we blend science and soul. Thanks for watching, bless your meals, bless your body, and above all, stay curious.